So you think you know our solar system. I bet it's not what you picture. It's not just this neat lineup of planets we learned about in school. It's a chaotic, crowded, and constantly changing neighborhood. And we're about to meet some of its lesser-known and honestly way more mysterious residents.
All right, let's just jump right in with the pretty simple question. How many planets are in our solar system? Go on, what's the first number that pops into your head? If you said 9, hey, you're not wrong. You're just using a slightly older map of the cosmos. And the story of why that map had to be redrawn, well, that's exactly what we're digging into today.
See, our map of the solar system isn't really set in stone. In fact, it changed, and pretty dramatically in our own lifetimes. And the whole story really hinges on the fate of one very famous, very distant little world.
And boom, here it is. This is the moment it all changed. Back in 2006, the International Astronomical Union, they're kind of the official naming committee for everything in space, they made the call. Pluto was reclassified. And just like that, our solar system officially had 8 planets, and a whole lot of textbooks needed to be rewritten.
So if Pluto isn't a planet anymore, then what in the world is it? Well, its demotion actually forced us to create this whole new, fascinating category of celestial objects, the dwarf planets. Now, the definition you see here is a little bit simple. The key thing is this. A dwarf planet is big enough for its own gravity to pull it into a round shape. You know, just like a regular planet, but, and this is the crucial part, it hasn't cleared its neighborhood. That basically means its orbit is still cluttered with other rocks and cosmic debris. It's this perfect cosmic middle ground. And here they are.
Wow, seeing them all lined up like this really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? These are the 5 officially recognized dwarf planets, and each one is a totally unique and mysterious world, just hanging out in the cold, dark edges of our solar system.
Let's put some names to those faces. You've got Pluto, of course, the one we all know, but there's also Eris, which is actually even more massive than Pluto. Then you have Ceres, the only one found in the inner asteroid belt, and rounding out the group are the weirdly shaped Haumea and the reddish-colored Makemake. But get this is probably just the beginning. Astronomers are pretty sure there could be hundreds, maybe even more, of these little worlds hiding out there in the dark, just waiting to be discovered. Our map of the solar system is very much a work in progress.
Okay, so we've got 8 planets, and at least 5 dwarf planets. But even that is just scratching the surface. Our solar system is absolutely packed, teeming with moons and all this ancient debris that's been left over since it all began.
Just think about moons for a second. How many do you think there are in our solar system? Take a guess. The answer is pretty wild. At the last official count, it was 173 moons orbiting just the 8 main planets. And believe me, that number is always going up.
And as you can see right here, they are not spread out evenly. Not at all. Jupiter and Saturn are like cosmic hoarders, with dozens and dozens of moons or satellites each. Meanwhile, the inner planets are pretty lonely. And look at this. Even the dwarf planets have their own moons. Pluto itself has 5 of them.
And besides all those moons, we have these guys, asteroids. You can think of them as cosmic rubble, just these fragments of rock and metal left over from the super-violent birth of our solar system billions of years ago. And these things aren't just floating around randomly, no. Millions of them form this massive, sprawling donut of ancient rock, a sort of cosmic highway that's orbiting the sun right between Mars and Jupiter. It is an unbelievably crowded and busy part of space. But, you know, for most of human history, we didn't know anything about asteroids or dwarf planets. All we had were those lights in the night sky. So how do we make sense of it all? Let's kind of shift gears here, from the science of what these things are to the human story of what they've meant to us. I mean, it's a pretty amazing question when you stop to think about it. Before we had telescopes and satellites, what were those points of light? What did they mean to people who were just standing on the ground, looking up with nothing but their own eyes? For countless cultures, the sky was, well, everything. Huge celebrations like the Sinhala and Hindu New Year or the Taipongo Festival are deeply, deeply tied to the cycles of the sun and the moon. These weren't just objects way up there. They were the rhythm of life itself. And that connection, it just runs so incredibly deep. People worshipped the sun and moon as gods. The sky gave us astrology and horoscopes. It guided when to plant and when to harvest. Some even believed it influenced herbal medicine. The heavens inspired rituals and festivals. It was our guide, our clock, and our connection to the divine. So how did we get from worshipping the sun to, reclassifying planets? It's been a long journey. Let's trace that arc of discovery that led us to where we are now, with this ever-expanding and constantly accelerating view of the cosmos.
You can really see the major turning points right here. Back in 1610, Galileo's telescope basically opened our eyes for the first time. Then in 1957, the first satellite launch meant we could actually go there. Pluto's reclassification in 2006 proved we're still figuring things out. And even right now, today, the search for brand new planets is still on.
And this is just such a powerful way to see that technological leap. I mean, look at that. From Galileo's simple little tube with lenses to the unbelievable power of a modern rocket launch. It's our tools that ultimately decide what we're able to discover.
And discovery, it really never stops. As we speak, astronomers have found some really compelling evidence for a potential ninth planet, a huge world that might be lurking way, way out there, far beyond Pluto. It's this tantalizing clue, based on the strange orbits of other distant objects, but we haven't actually seen it directly. Not yet, anyway. And that really brings us to our final thought. The fact that we are still sketching the map of our own cosmic backyard, it's just incredible. It really makes you wonder, right? If our own solar system still holds such big mysteries, just imagine what else is waiting for us out there in the great